Good evening. Thank you for joining us for tonight's Village of Alsip committee meeting. Today is July 9th, 2018. We'll call this meeting in order at 7:32. Can we call the roll, please?
Yes. Trustee McGreal is absent at this time. Trustee Dalzell.
Here.
Trustee Pierce is absent this evening. Trustee Zielinski.
Here.
Trustee Juarez.
Here.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Here.
Mayor Ryan.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A couple of notes before we start the regular reports. I did get this in my mailbox today. This coming Friday, July 13th, from 1 till 3 p.m. at Harry Miller Appliance at 3900 West 127th Street. They're inviting people to what's going to be known as a summer barbecue cooking demonstration. And the flyer I got here said that the make delicious homemade char burgers, chips, and sundaes, perfect for your summer barbecue or picnic, with Diane George, who ran the Tasty Freeze franchise over in Palos Heights for more than 10 years before establishing Diane's Place in Palos Heights. There is a number to RSVP by calling 708-396-7219, and should you participate, you can win a free KitchenAid mixer, like a blender mixer. Everyone goes home with a gift. You'll learn homemade recipes from Diane George, who's been the restaurant owner for over 10 years. So should you be interested, we'll post this on the bulletin board out in the hallway. Participate in that over at Harry Miller this coming Friday from 1 to 3. Also, I was given a note earlier in the office. There will be a fundraising benefit for a fight against cancer at Benny's Pizza on Saturday, August 4th, 2018. This is going to go from 3:30 in the afternoon till whenever. The donation's $10 for food at this benefit. Benny's Pizza is at 13849 South Cicero. And again, this is for a fight against cancer, and I guess the primary focus is one of our recently retired employee is having a bad time with cancer, and we wish him the best, and hopefully some funding can help his family as well then too. So thank you. If you're able to participate in that, that's August 4th at Benny's Pizza. As far as reports go, first report mine, number one on your agenda, I have a request to have my administrative assistant, Becky Smith, attend an administrative assistance conference on September 12, 2018 at the Hilton Garden Inn in Oak Brook Terrace. Cost of that is $199. There was information on this in everyone's packet, so please defer to that should you have any questions, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer it. But otherwise, all that information regarding that conference is in your board packet. Clerk's report, Clerk Petzel.
Thank you. Presentation of the June FOIA activity report. There was a total of 20 FOIAs last month. And the presentation of the IDOT motor fuel tax allotment for June 2018 in the amount of $37,232.83. And the clerk's office would just like to say a huge thank you to the police department for their additional help during sticker season. It was nice to have some additional presence on that last Saturday and that last week in particular, so thanks to the PD. And that is all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. The public forum, would anyone in the audience wish to address the board this evening? No one? Standing committee reports, Finance Committee, Trustee McLaughlin.
I will have the usual list of accounts payable and payroll for approval, and that's all I have under finance.
Okay.
Other than a reminder that we have another budget meeting scheduled for tomorrow night at 6:30.
Trustee, I just spoke, just in the last 10 minutes, I spoke to Trustee Pierce. Work has called him away. He won't be available for tomorrow night's meeting, just so you know.
Okay.
All right. Fire report, trustee McGlowan?
I have no report at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Police report, committee?
No report.
None? Thank you. The public work and boat launch, trustee Juarez?
I have a presentation of the June monthly activity report. I also have a request to go out for bid for the fiscal year 2019 MFT street resurfacing at the July 16th, 2018 Village Board meeting. That's all, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. The building committee, trustee Zelinski?
Yes, Mayor, I have a block party request. We received this application today. If we wait, it'll be after the date of the block party, so I'm going to put it on for consideration for next week to vote on. It's at 11548 South Karloff Avenue for the time of Saturday, July 21st, 2018, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. There's no live band, no DJ. And that's all I have for building.
Trustee Zelinski, one more time, 11548 South Karlov, the 21st, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
That is correct.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Trustee, I'd like to recognize Asher is here from Yafo. Asher, did you want to have Asher speak to the parking lot as long as he's here? You want to come up, Asher, please? Yeah. Oh, certainly made the trip. Asher, how's business? I would say you guys look busy all the time.
We're
Yeah.
starting to get some walk-in customers. Most of our work was dealers, wholesalers, and finally we're starting to get some walk-in customers over there.
No, you folks do good work, and we appreciate your efforts yet too.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad your new business is doing well over there. I'd say a lot of traffic and so forth.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming out tonight. We did have a couple questions that just came up, and really it was just about the getting the parking lot done, Asher. How long before you can get your lot done, and what's the status on that right now?
I've been speaking to a couple. I've spoken to like 2 or 3 different asphalt companies. One of them was doing work at Experior. When I spoke to him, so he can come out and give us some estimates on the parking lot. The one thing that is delaying right now is the MWRD
Right.
on the parking lot, basically, and they came out and did the measurements to see how much asphalt they're going to need and the measurements for the parking lot and everything. It's just a waiting process with these people right now.
What's the status with MWRD? In other words, where do you stand with them? Did you get approval yet, or do you know?
As of yet, no, I haven't had anything with them.
Okay. When did you start talking with them?
It was sometime around January.
January? All right. I know sometimes things take a little bit of time, so they've had 6 months to work on this, more or less. Roger, have we had any contact with MWRD about this either?
We'll reach out to them this week and have a conversation and see where they're at and see if we can push it along. I did meet with Asher and asked him to trim some of the weeds that are growing. He said as soon as the guys are out, he will get that taken care of. I didn't know he was going to come tonight, but if the board would be in agreement to give him a 3-month extension, just so that we can get through that phase and then hopefully get that asphalt taken care of.
Okay. We can certainly do that at a board level, like next week, but before we go that far, let's get some paperwork from MWRD to support the request, or at least, who knows, if they have an okay tomorrow, that kind of thing yet, too. Because, Asher, obviously, this is the hot season right now, too, where you want to get your guys in there to get this done at the same time. Obviously, the community has sent us notes. It's just to remind us, and we're aware of it anyway, of the window we gave your company to get the parking lot done. And certainly we want to honor that. So, obviously, we need to get MWRD's approval in order to get that accomplished. I can appreciate that you've been on this for 6 months, but we need to get that done.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I need to also get it done because, we've been in the process of trying to get the license for selling cars over there in that lot, the dealer. To try.
Well, you probably, you're in a business, is that business or industrial over there?
It's industrial.
It is. Okay, well, that's a good thing then, because that's what we've designated for car sales at this point anyway, at then too. But I would think you probably have to still, do he need a plan and zoning meeting?
Probably,
believe so.
because it's a
Yeah.
special use.
Because it's special, he's got the special use now for the repair.
Okay.
But it's probably an additional,
No, I'm sorry.
Classification.
No, he doesn't, right now, he does not have special, he would
Okay.
need special use if he was to sell.
To sell cars. Is that where you want to get to? You want to start selling some cars on front of your place?
Yes, I mean, not in the front of the place. I can use part of the north lot
Okay.
and part of the back lot when I have that asphalted.
All right.
The front lot, I want to keep that for customers that come in for the parking.
Well,
In
if
front
all
of
this is taking place kind of at the same time, Raj, why don't we, I mean, you can talk up with Asher later, but while let's talk to MWRD, let's get some hard paperwork to present to the board next week at Monday's meeting, as far as the status is on that, and let's get them to commit to something. And then at the same time, why don't you set Asher up with, let's get a plan and zoning meeting for him. So this way, at least you get all these things moving then, Asher, if that's what you're going to do. You know what I mean? Because all this doesn't happen overnight, so let's at least get the ball moving yet, too, if that's what you're going to do. But we want to see the pavement honored in order with, to be compliant with the building code to have a surface lot, a finished surface lot, okay? Okay. I appreciate you coming out, too, man. I didn't know you were going to be here tonight,
Well,
Asher, so.
I knew that there was a meeting going on, so I just figured let me.
No, I appreciate that. You're a good business, and again, we just want to keep everybody in compliance, as we do with the community. They're looking to see that finished as well, too. So we're all hoping for the best for you.
Thank you very much.
Sure. All right, moving along, the water and sewer report, Trustee Dozal.
Presentation of the June monthly activity report, and a request for authorization to purchase water meters at a cost not to exceed $81,180. Purchase is an ongoing replacement of residential water meters and has been requested in the fiscal year 19 budget. There'll be 324 meters total with 324 flex circuit radios. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. The license report, Trustee Juarez.
I have a presentation of the list of licenses and review from June 25th through July 6th, 2018. That's all, Mayor.
Thanks. The Economic Development Committee report? Or, I'm sorry, Chris is here. I apologize, Chris. I'm looking right at you. Chris, can you go to the mic, please, just so the girls can hear it?
Just some updates to the report that should have been in your packets from Friday. Some things are moving along quickly now after waiting for a while. We talked before about official cuts and the building owner, Yahia Jabbar. He intends to be here at the next Committee of the Whole meeting to make a presentation about his request for a facade application for $50,000. And as I have in the report, that's about 34% of the eligible TIF costs. And we've already worked out, as I think you also may be aware, of the sprinkler system. So he's now in compliance. We've been working with Roger Early's department and with the fire department. So he's now in compliance, and he's moving ahead on those costs. And in addition to that, those expenses he's paying out of his own pocket. He'll be coming here, though, to ask for help with fixing up the parking lot and the facade. So he's well within the same kind of parameters that most of the other applications have been. Affiliated management is moving forward with its planned renovations, and I believe work's begin with that. With Health and Earth Wellness, building department has architectural plans, and we're in the process of trying to get those in hard copy now so Roger Early can review them. Howard Chernowski's moving ahead. He's still trying to figure out some of the issues with his parking area and updating the facade because of a new retailer he's trying to bring into the facility that we've been working with him on, and the village has. Fire water is still in the process of securing financing. And a couple of things to add tonight. I got a phone call, a really positive one on page 2 of your report. We knew that Dr. Matthews, the dentist, dentistry, and Studio K had planned to come in for a facade improvement, and they're now working on an application for that. So Sue Matthews called, and we're moving ahead with them, and hopefully submit a new application for that, but just for facade. And that's
We're going to have to
something
establish some real good guidelines at some point, too, because I know we're getting real skinny on the... on the
everything
funding.
I'm talking about, we have in the budget, yeah.
Okay.
Kent and I have kept in pretty good touch, and that's where he and I were reviewing the other day when you were up there going through the budget, too. So everything we're talking about's been in the budget. It's nothing new, nothing out of left field, and we're keeping the amounts relatively small.
Chris, what's the time frame on EDCA before he's supposed to be moving?
I turn you over to Roger Early for that. I keep asking him.
February 18th.
Oh, as far as February. Okay, I thought we were closer than that.
February 18th, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken,
All right,
is what the closing date was.
okay.
And then he has until that date, and we'll have to start, and I'll start the process earlier, knowing and shoot for April or May demolition. This way the walls that will be moving a little faster than what the car wash.
Right. Now, you and I met at 8:30 this morning to talk about that. Anything else? Because, I know the county is just...
Today I will follow up again and see if they're releasing it, same thing with the house. The house it was.
Well, the house... Yeah, because with the house, you're saying the county is involved with permitting on the mold asbestos removal,
$2,000 fee just to apply for it.
and then we still have it. We're getting a permit to demolish the house at the same time.
But you can't apply for demolition permit until the abatement has been secured.
Okay, and we talked this morning. So, did the contractor get back with us on that?
He just said that it was applied for Thursday at, right between 3:30 and 4 o'clock.
Because Board 4, just so everybody's abreast, we're trying to move on this as quick as we can, but we're kind of tied to by getting quotes all the time and so forth to do each and everything that we've done. Whatever, like a week or two ago, we actually had the refuse, rubble removed from the house just to get at the floors because there was so much debris. I'm just being polite about all this. There was so much garbage in the house, it was crazy. And we had a service come out, and they took them a day or two to haul all that stuff away for us just to access the floors, which have the old-fashioned tiles that have asbestos in the tiles. And they got to come in and still plastic the doorways and everything else, even as old as it is, so we don't release spores into the neighborhood, and then we have more problems. So we are doing everything correctly. It's just unfortunate it's taking more time than we expected. And our goal is this summer is to have that house down.
I wanted to have it done well.
Yeah, we should have had it done already, but again, we're honoring everything, all the protocol here in the village with having, as far as expenditures are concerned. And Gary Perlman with Lewis Kankar Limited is overseeing everything yet too. So Gary's got us doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, unfortunately, these things do take time, and I'm very thankful that Roger has that issue with dealing with the permits with the county, then we don't have
But
to.
we don't have an asbestos issue at the car wash. Right. And the fire department actually did some training there recently as well too, for their men. They did a couple live burns there recently and so forth. So we're done with all that. We can take that thing down. And we're really looking forward to putting up a for sale sign out there to promote that property. And Chris, that's, and just so you know too, I probably mentioned it before, I really want to put up something that really catches your eye, not just for sale, that the village is
Exactly.
promoting this property and so
Yep.
forth then too. And,
Yeah, and, we're out there letting people know. In fact, in August, Roger Hopkins and I are going to be attending the ISC Retail Connection, which is one of the shows that we have in our budget.
is that the deal show again?
This is a luncheon. This is where the Retail Connection is where the retailers, the developers come out and they tell us what's going to be in the marketplace and what they're looking for.
All right.
So that's just a routine thing we go to. There's 3 activities with that's the Retail Association, the ICSC.
Okay.
And that's one of the 3 events that we go to, and we've had that in our contract. So we're not doing anything unusual, anything new or different. Even these projects, they've all been in the budget, and we stay in regular contact with Kent. And then as far as dotting the i's and crossing the t's, as far as contractors, whatever, we have the applicants work directly with Roger and his crew.
I was at the property next door to Pappas's, where Affiliated Management is doing their thing over the weekend. I noticed they have a new blacktop lot out there
Yep.
now too. So
Yep, they've
it
been
looks
moving
good.
ahead, and they're not they've not come back to us with anything new or different.
Okay.
We just keep the pressure on the ones that we already have agreements with RDAs out there and with the new ones coming in. But everything that we're talking about, whether it be Matthews coming back for facade or whatever, these are ones that we've already had a guesstimate as to what they would probably be needing in the budget from last year, which is being rolled over to this year. So we're not coming back asking for anything new or different that we
Okay.
haven't already reviewed.
Trustees, any questions for Chris?
No.
Okay,
Thanks, Chris.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have the we just did planning and zoning. Trustee Zelinski.
No report tonight, Mayor.
The special committee reports, village properties, Trustee McGlohorn.
Do I have anything, Roger? No report at this time.
No
Mayor.
report. How about the insurance committee?
No report.
No. Ordinance legislation committee? I can actually speak to this for a second. I did speak with Trustee Pierce earlier, and there was actually just a misunderstanding. He felt that actually the fire chief got involved, and he had felt that the fire inspection fees that we're looking at on your agenda is ordinance number 2014-9-1 and subsequent repeal. That was repealed back when last year, at right about this date, we reenacted this, so we do have current fees being charged to commercial, industrial, and apartment buildings for fire inspections. And we did outline those at the time, and it was approved by the board. So just so everybody understands, there is no misunderstanding. These are active at this time. The fire department, as to date, has billed 51 buildings, I believe, and has collected, 51,000 has been billed, and we've collected as much as 34,000 of the 51 that was billed for this year so far for fire inspections. So, but right now, the fire inspection ordinance is in effect right now. It does not need to be repealed. It's already been made effective. Last year, the board approved this right about this time. Anyone from that committee wish to address anything else on that?
No.
Okay. About the IT committee, Trustee Dalzell?
No report.
Okay. Human Resources Committee,
No report.
the Health and Pollution Committee. I'm sorry, who's on that committee?
Trustee Zelinski would be the only member here.
Okay. Trustee?
Trustee Zelinski.
We have a presentation of the June monthly activity report and discussion on rodent control efforts.
Thank you. I saw Linda Cavallo's here this evening. Linda, can you come up for a minute so we can talk about this? Thanks for coming out too, Linda. Linda is our health officer, and Linda, the reason that probably that you were asked to come on out tonight, a couple of trustees were asking the last couple of weeks what we are doing proactively with rodent control. So if you can tell us what's your department doing right now?
Well, we're trying to get.
You guys step into the mic too. Sorry. There you
We're
go.
trying to get through the residents' minds that they need to cut down all their overgrown vegetation, cut their grass, pick up their garbage, clean up after their dogs. The rats love the dog waste, and they're hiding in all the overgrown bushes and weeds. And I'm out there writing tickets, talking to people, trying to get it through their heads that that will help with the rat situation. You know, and if they feel the need to, they have to call a pest control company to do their property if it's that severe on their property. You know, but I haven't been getting any calls lately about the rats.
Okay.
None. But when I go to a house and I see all the overgrown vegetation, most of the time it's all along the back fences, behind the garage. Nobody likes to cut behind their garage, ever. And the weeds are like 12 feet tall. Well, they're all living in there. And I try to let them know, if you have children and they run through there, they might get bit by a rat. So they need to be proactive on taking care of their property, you know, themselves. And if they need further help, all they have to do is call and we could see what we can do. I could even have our pest control guy go and tell them what they need to do. He has done that several times, and he has not charged us any extra on our bill. The day that he comes to do the village and the fire department, if I have a certain place for him to go to, he will go and not add any extra cost.
Okay. So historic. Let's just say the last 4 years, when we were looking at our budgets last week, we were talking about this, and the last 4 years we've budgeted approximately $2,600 per year. Linda, what do we do with that right now?
Well, I think he comes twice a month here, and that's $80 each time he comes here,
Okay.
and $30 for each firehouse. And that's mainly what he's been doing.
Have we been baiting any properties or anything
No.
like that? Anything?
We do not go on private properties. In the ordinance, it states if somebody has a problem, they need to call pest control on their own. The village does not supply that. That would be so costly for us to have a pest control service to service everybody that has a problem. That would
Right.
be way too costly. I mean, I read somewhere, you know, that they said they would give us a lot more money in the budget for that. We don't need it because it's not the village responsibility. The businesses have to get their own pest control. Everybody that has food anywhere that I inspect, they all have pest control. And if my house had a problem, I would have to call my own service. I can't have the village come and take care of it. So, I mean, just trying to get the word out there for people to take care of their properties. And I think one of the problems is, Sam Petzel and Sergeant Durkin, they went over and talked to Burr Oak because they need to cut all that overgrowth all the way around the perimeter, not just a little bit here and there. And if the state is not doing Cicero or 127th, that's their responsibility from curb to curb.
And believe me, I went at it with the state a couple times last week, and they are cutting the grass now. And I told them, I'm just being polite. We're in a meeting, but I really expressed how disappointed I was in the appearance of how they're making our town look. And I expressed exactly what you just said. You can't leave. In that grass south of 127th Street in Cicero is just terrible. It's fallen into the street. It's so long. You know what I mean?
I know.
So, I'm doing my end as far as trying to get that. Trustee just handed me one of the bills. We just got one today from the pest control company, and just to share with the audience listening here to and the board, they applied a drain treatment known as benzenine, something like that, to the drains in the lower area of the police department for the control of drainage and other
Flies.
drain flies? Okay. They also inspected an area on the east side of Pulaski I don't want to use any business names and so forth, but the east side of Pulaski, say near like 120th, and they found they went from actually it went all the way from 119th all the way to 123rd, and they did inspect for pest activity, and they found no burrowing at this time. And then they also checked the area behind the apartments, just west of us here, like near Spencer Street, and along 123rd Street, and they found no burrowing or other pest activity found at this time.
That's where we were having a big problem for a while there, and it's stopped.
Some spider activity was pointed out near the Village Hall, and they are treating that area on Monday with a sensitive chemical, I guess, of some type. They're taking care
That
of
was
that.
today, since one of the girls was not here.
Okay.
He could treat it because she can't breathe that in.
Oh, okay. And let me ask you, now, one of the Trustee Juarez had asked, can we do more with our budget last week? And while we won't, we have to honor the ordinance, like you said, we're not going to work on individual homes.
Correct.
We don't mind increasing that budget a little bit. Currently, we've got it at about $4,200, and I wouldn't mind putting a couple of bucks in there to even have somebody come in. You and I talked about this last week. Was actually even have somebody come in like a town hall night that we can advertise on our website and Facebook and whatnot. Like on a Wednesday night, I can have a guy from a reputable company come in and coach folks up on how to better
That would be good.
abate their own properties and so forth then too. And certainly we can tape it where, folks can look at on a website, or you can even YouTube something like that if you like then too,
That would be
as a service to the village. But are there any public areas you think maybe we should be baiting? Are you seeing anything that we should be focusing on?
If I know there's a place that has a problem, I will send our guy over there. And he doesn't charge us any extra. So that's why I don't think there's any reason to beef up the budget in that department. I really don't. Because in some of the cases, if there is a problem on a property or a business, I will go there and tell them, you have to call a pest control company today. You've got a big problem, and it's going to spread in this whole area. And 99% of the time, they do it.
Well, you made a great point earlier, and Mike Fraders here, our Public Works Superintendent, along with Roger Early, our Building Commissioner, and even last year, guys, we talked to a couple of homes that had illegal fences behind their house, and that causes a problem. You're actually allowing, the rodents to establish a habitat because nobody can get at those areas. I mean, it's one neighbor's blaming the other, and that second fence doesn't belong there, and there's all of 18 inches or maybe a foot between. That's all it takes.
And then you have 6 foot of weeds in
Right.
between.
And nobody wants to maintain it because they both put up a tall fence.
Yep.
So we're telling folks that you have to honor their building codes.
One of
and-
them has to take it down.
Right.
Whoever put it up second.
Right. And we are big on code enforcement right now, so we are doing our best to address that and stuff then too. So.
What? The community service officers and myself and Roger, we've been out there really trying to get these people to take care of stuff.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
2 weeks ago, the first half of the week, I can say myself and my partner were partnered up with Linda and Roger of Building Department. We are going around town doing the best we can to it.
Well, what I like to recommend, folks, is like you said, Linda, if the costs aren't really exceptional, if they're not really out of line, if you identify some common areas that we can bait to help the public, I think we're happy to do so. So.
If I see any, I'll let you know, and I'll ask our pest control company if he has seen any places, but I think he would have wrote it down.
Yeah, no, I appreciate his report. Trustee, thanks for sharing that and stuff then too, but I appreciate his report that he is going along, the areas, especially where there might be food being served and things like that.
He does the creeks in a lot of places.
Okay.
He does the creek behind Walgreens. He checks behind Walgreens, behind Food for Less. He does a lot of businesses where he doesn't have to because they already have pest control. But he does that because he's been doing it for years.
Mayor, we can reach out to Synergy tomorrow and see if he wouldn't mind doing it. I know that I did have him at Heritage, or at Heritage 2, and he was, anytime I asked him to come in and, give the residents any kind of information, he was always helpful with doing it. I'm sure if we reached out to him, I'm sure he would come in and do something like that.
Yeah, I'm just asking for a half an hour of his time.
Because he
To come
lives
in and
out in
do it.
Indiana.
Hmm?
He lives in Indiana.
Okay. Whatever. I mean, if we need somebody else local, we'll get somebody else too, but I think it really would help out the public. We have seen this on the social media. Some folks try to bring some attention. I think not all of it's, again, we would appreciate a call to our office as opposed to social media, because we really don't. I mean, my office hasn't gotten a call. We'd certainly respond to it if we did. Has your office gotten, I know, Linda said no. How about you? Okay.
No,
All right. So for the record, no, we haven't been receiving the calls. All right.
no calls.
Linda, thanks for addressing the issue, because it is important to our community and so forth, and too.
Yes, it
Trustees,
is.
got any questions for Linda while she's here?
No, thanks, Linda.
Okay.
I do have one. Do you know if that dumpster was ever dumped? That you looked at, that you went out?
You want to hear?
Yes.
Yes, it
That-
was.
All right.
We've gone for about 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Roger tried, and I spoke with that company. They were based out of like Elk Grove Village or something like that, but they did send a truck down to grab it. And there was no markings on it. You had to look real close. A lot of these garbage can companies will weld their name, and it's painted over, so we had to really get on this thing to figure out where it was. And they couldn't figure out either whose can that was. So somebody was getting a can dumped at some point, but that's been going on for about a week. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
I mean,
Yeah.
he came out, he talked to Roger and myself, and it took him a couple days, but he finally got, because nobody knew whose can it was.
Right.
No, it was packed, and somebody left it in the street yet too. So
I think it was one of those businesses
Left.
over there that had that company years ago, and then just stopped service from them,
Yeah.
and they never picked up the can, and they filled it up and didn't want to pay for an extra dump, so they just rolled it out in the street.
right.
Really? And that happens a lot.
Moving along, traffic safety, Trustee Dalzell.
No report, Mayor.
Any presentations, petitions, or communications? None? How about any unfinished business? Or new business? Then I'll ask, can I get somebody to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you for joining us, folks. Enjoy your evening tonight. And we'll adjourn this meeting at 8:10.